Good afternoon, XRP Future Millionaire, and this is some breaking news. Crypto across the board is plunging. The only thing up right now is IOTA for the most part. There might be some that I'm not covering that are up, but right now we have an anomaly. Algo is cheaper, Kenny, than IOTA. That cannot happen, which means either IOTA is getting ready to dump, which it really does, it's going to pull back down, or Algo is getting ready here when it gets down to this bottom, and it's going to have a much bigger pump to catch up, or we're just going to decline down to this symmetrical triangle. We have the downtrending resistance, uptrending support. It looks like we could be making our... Actually, that's off a little bit. I don't know what happened. I pulled the line on accident. Sorry. That was supposed to, I believe, already have hit. I don't know what the hell happened to this. Because we could do that. But we're trying to figure out exactly what Algo is going to do, and I think that looks pretty good. So, if we're looking at this, if it breaks through there, 77 cents would be the logical support. If we were to break down out of that, or, down into this dollar range. But right now, we're going to look at that very carefully, because Algo, it's an anomaly that it's cheaper than IOTA. It can't happen. The Algorand network cannot be behind the Internet of Things right now, which is IOTA, which is the category it's in. It can't happen. It's impossible, which means there's likely a dump coming to IOTA, or we're going to get a 11% or 2% or some kind of pump up, not even a big pump. But something's going to happen where those two flip. So you're going to notice in the days to come, either IOTA's going to have a 15% dump, or Algo, when we get to the bottom, they're just going to shuffle. Just like you see with XRP and XLM. Remember when XRP was well above the 3-to-1 ratio to XLM? Now it's about a 1 cent, 1.5 cent difference from a 3-to-1. It's right back to where it needs to be. You don't really see any overlying anomaly. You do see a bearish trend forming in Bitcoin. I believe the right shoulder is going to soon form. I mean, it is an M-topping reversal, so we had stairs up. We could just come straight through to 45,529. But typically in a pattern like this, I would love it just to come straight through right now. But we did hit this 47,000. We didn't quite hit 121, but we came close enough. That could be my mistake. That could be where it wanted to hit instead of 147, 160 or whatever. That's actually more in the middle. But I still like it down here just because this is where it would have to bounce off here. So I actually want to lower this. Not lower it, but we're going to create two sections because where this falls in is going to be very important on this. What I mean is if this bounces down and it were to bounce on here, right? Because we want to bounce on the top of this descending resistance if we're going to make any more of a push. So we've got to line this up right. So that would be around 46,276. And then right now we've got my 47,001. It's about 195 roughly. So that's fine. We can keep that. It didn't quite come down to it. But that's what we would need to do to be bullish still. But we've got some problems here. XRP's below 86 cents. It's just like if you were paying attention to my updates yesterday. And somebody told me a lot of things about being, oh, look, he's fucking bearish again. He's always bearish. Well... I was being honest. I said, does XRP daily close hint at a flash drop? And then the next update I did, 4 hours after that, I said XRP chart hints at further drop to come. Bitcoin tops at 52K as a sharp drop to 47K next. So I did that and everybody's calling me the bear again. But what happened, guys? It's not even, 16 hours? Where's Bitcoin at? Oh, 47,602. So a sharp drop to 47,000, in fact, was going to happen, which it has. XRP, a flash drop, wasn't going to happen. Just in the last, 16 hours, we're down 7.5%. Not counting what happened right before that. So, I put these out for a reason. And it's been spot on. DGB's down 9%. If you were in the members only area, you could have seen with VeChain and Zill what they were doing. And the numbers where you had to watch, because I had these. And 9.9 was our spot. If it hit that, that's our heavy resistance. And then it comes back down, guys. Can't make this stuff up. So, make sure to hit that like button and turn that bell notification on. But now we got to get into something else, and then we'll get back into the technicals. But the overall state of the crypto market is bearish. I don't care what anybody says. Bitcoin bearish signal. Trend is again shifting from outflows to inflows. On-chain data shows Bitcoin net flow trend is once again shifting from outflows to inflows, a sign that could prove to be bearish for the cryptos. So the Bitcoin net flow trend is changing to inflows from outflows. As per the latest weekly report from Glassnode, Bitcoin net flows have once again started to move from a trend of net outflows to more inflows. The all exchanges net flow. So that's basically people are loading their money back up on or their Bitcoin back on the exchanges to sell when it says it's an inflow. When it's an outflow, they're taking their Bitcoin off of the exchange and putting it into their independent wallet. Just so you know, FYI. The all exchanges net flow is an indicator that measures the net amount of Bitcoin entering or exiting wallets of all exchanges. The metrics value is calculated by simply taking the difference between the inflows and the outflows. When the indicator has negative values, it means outflows are overwhelming inflows. As a net amount of Bitcoin is being transferred out of exchanges, investors usually withdraw their coins from exchanges for accumulation purposes, and so such a trend can be bullish for the crypto. On the other hand, positive net flow values signify that a net amount of Bitcoin is being deposited into exchange wallets, since holders generally move their crypto to exchanges for withdrawing to fiat or for purchasing altcoins with them. Such values of the indicator may be bearish for the coin. Now here is a chart that shows the trend in the Bitcoin net flow over the course of 2021. Looks like Bitcoin inflows are on the rise. Week on-chain, week 52. So in the above graph, the net flows have been oscillating between the plus 5K Bitcoin and minus 5K Bitcoin lines throughout the year. There have been some brief periods where the indicator value broke out of this range, but overall the trend has been consistent. Looking at the chart, it seems like the indicator is currently shifting towards inflows again after a period of big outflows. The report notes that it's worth, and by the way, there was somebody sold 20,000 Bitcoin today, so that was crazy. The report notes that it's worth keeping an eye on this trend to see if these inflows intensify or rather decline towards the start of the new year. If the inflows do sustain for a while, then the outlook could be bearish for the price of Bitcoin, similar to back in May of this year. Bitcoin's price reached almost 52K yesterday, but has since declined again. At the time of writing, Bitcoin floats around 49.2, and as you guys know, it crashed another 20, from here, another 2,000 in an hour or two. In the last 7 days, over the past 30 days, the coin has lost 9%, which is now more around 13-14%. Bitcoin seems to have plunged down in the past 24 hours. It absolutely has. So there's a lot of things going on today. It's not good. We talked about it yesterday, how with what was going on with Evergrande. I kept hitting it today being a bad day for crypto. So I know a lot of you guys were out. So you guys did what you needed to. And if you want to get back in, you've got to look at the proper spots to buy in. We can't just sit in there because we're afraid it's going to go to the moon. That's called... Oh, man. But that's your, that's your FOMO, because that's your fear of missing out. So, there's just so much stuff coming out. But that's what I wanted to read about Bitcoin. But there's just a lot of things. I'm sorry, I get fascinated reading that. So, I'm going to keep you guys updated on the news as well as the technicals. So, now we've got XRP. So what are we looking at here? Well, we got our support we talked about yesterday. I said 88 probably wouldn't hold, which is why I took it out initially, but then I put it back just not to confuse my audience. Because that is a very big support resistance zone. But I felt like 83.5 had a chance. And then if we fall through that, we come back to 75. Yes. It doesn't mean we have to. There's a 79 right here, or 78 right in the zone that you could say, okay, we could hold. And I give you that. So, that's what we're looking at, though. But falling through where we've come to the bottom side of a lot of these moving averages, and we got to touch an area of support where we can hold. I think that 83 cents is very interesting. So, right now we've got support at 83.5, resistance at 88 cents. The 30-minute time frame is way up there at 91.5. So, if you start talking about what we're hunting, well, we've fallen through the daily again. as you can see, after that fake out to the upside. The weekly, if we're hunting, is the next one on our list, but I don't think we're going right to 58 cents unless we have a flash drop like we did before. But that's at 59,483 is the 200-day in the weekly. Remember, the double bottom is down there on our symmetrical triangle, which would actually be a triple bottom now, as I've said. That's why I'm not convinced that we're going to come all the way down to 52 cents yet. If we come down here, I think we'd be more likely to come to 57,824 or 662, I mean. You can see how close it is to the 200-day, which I just moved the line so you could see. But that's, I think, more likely of a scenario than not. But we're running out of room here. We're squeezing this symmetrical triangle in the grand scale. Even if you take out the long-term symmetrical triangle, we're still within it. We're within both. So if that short-term symmetrical triangle, which is a very big one, doesn't play true and it breaks below it, then you got to start coming down to the long-term one, and that's where all the interesting prices happen, like the old 12,385. Because on the symmetrical bounce, it is hinting that if we stayed flat, it would be 12,385, but if we do it on an uptrending basis, we would meet somewhere around 32 cents on this pattern, and the sweet spot, in fact, could be somewhere, let's say out into the future, could be somewhere on this line. We can't confirm it, but that is the solid uptrend, and we are holding true to the downtrending resistance in a 5-year span. So let's just be aware. Let's pay attention to what we're looking at, and I will be back when appropriate. I still think there is a massive pump to be made. That's going to look something like that when we round at about 52 to 57 cents. If we hold that area, and we're going to come way up here. And that's going to be a massive pump. You can already see the W. And then how would you know if you're bullish? Well, you'd either fall through and come back to here, or when you make this, you'd come to the top side, ride this, and then you know we're going to all-time highs likely. If we don't fake out, because that would be a huge extension. So that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm feeling, and that's how you can trade the XRP market without looking like a doofus.